All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's game time. Let's go. Pomp and circumstance. We're not playing yet, so you can just have your instruments down. As soon as I get the cue, we will go. But we gotta get all of the kids out. All the children, even though they're graduated seniors.
This is where the microphone is.
All the children. Remember, big first sound to start. Don't be wimpy on it, okay? Remember, the mics will pick up everything that you have. So try not to say or do anything. It will be picked up. I'm going to do the same. So.
Class of 2019, please remain standing. Audience, please stand for the national anthem.
Please be seated. Honored guests, family, friends, and most importantly, graduates, I'd like to welcome you to the 2019 New Prague High School commencement ceremony. This evening's 310 graduates are concluding a 13-year educational journey. It's a journey that has included early childhood education, elementary school, middle school, and high school. We are here to celebrate this momentous event. Graduates, if asked, could you name the 5 wealthiest people in the world, or 5 people who have won the Nobel Prize, or the last 5 Academy Award winners for Best Actor and Actress? The point is, none of us remembers the headliners of yesterday. When the applause dies, the awards tarnish, and the achievements are forgotten, no one cares about who won which award. But if you were asked to list the 5 teachers or mentors who believed in you and encouraged you, 5 friends who have helped you through a difficult time, 5 people who have taught you something worthwhile, or 5 people who have made you feel appreciated and special, that's much easier to do, isn't it? That's because the people who make a difference in your life aren't the ones with the most credentials, the most money, or the most awards. They're the ones who care. If you want to be remembered for being important to someone else's life, make them feel appreciated. There were many teachers that had an impact on your lives and shaped to who you have become as you prepare to enter the next stage of your lives outside this school grounds. It is our tradition in New Prague to have a small number of those teachers representing all the schools, public and private, in the New Prague Area School District attend graduation. A few were chosen by the senior class, and the majority, in fact, 19 of the 24 teachers, happen to be a parent of one of this evening's graduates. I would ask that these teachers that are located in the front row to please stand, turn, and be recognized for the difference they have made in the lives of the class of 2019. And now, the time for my annual tip to our graduates. Follow your passion. Stay true to yourself. Never follow someone else's path. Unless you're in the woods and you're lost and you see a path, then by all means you should follow that. Congratulations, New Prague High School class of 2019, for reaching this milestone event in your life, and I wish you the best as you begin your next journey. The high school choir.
Let it roll right off your shoulders. These twists and turns of fate, these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away when these small hours, these little wonders, still remain. They still remain. These little wonders, these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away when these small hours, these little wonders, still remain.
My name is Nicole Adams, and I'm principal at New Prague High School. It is my distinct honor to introduce this year's commencement student speaker. There is no shortage of positive terms that could be used to describe Ann Zwaber. If forced to select just one term that exemplifies Ann, I would choose the term servant leader. From a young age, she has been drawn to helping others. This started at age 9 with her involvement in 4-H. Over the years, Ann has grown and developed as a leader driven by a mission to serve others. This is exemplified through her chosen activities and subsequent accomplishments. She has played an integral role in 2 organizations at New Prague High School dedicated to benefiting others. She is president of PROUD, which stands for People Respecting Others and Understanding Differences, and a founder of BRIDGE, which stands for Building Relationships in Diverse Generations, Empowering Equity. In addition to that, after volunteering to work with teens who were learning English as a second language at Faribault High School and learning more about their culture, she was inspired to develop a culture here at New Prague High School. And so she did. She embodies the core values to which she is deeply committed. Among those values are kindness, understanding, equity, and inclusion. Not to mention that if you have ever had the good fortune to interact with Ann, you will not be able to help but notice that she is just a funny, engaging, and an all-around good human. Next year, Ann will attend the College of St. Benedict to study elementary education. And no doubt she will continue to build her servant leadership skills for years to come. Please welcome to the stage Ann Zwaber.
Thank you, Ms. Adams. So when I started writing my graduation speech, I thought, who could I ask for help and inspiration? So I turned to the girl we all know and love, Alexa. So I asked, hey Alexa, how do you write a great graduation speech? And she came back with some advice from Oxford University's blog, which said, be just funny enough, be like Shakespeare, and keep it short. So I'm gonna trust Alexa on this one and go for it. Walking into high school back when we were just little freshmen, we had no idea what we were going to get out of the year. But little did we know, the name told us everything we were going to experience. New Prague High School. New. Going into high school, it was a little nerve-wracking. We were starting a new chapter at a new school. And on top of that, we had already heard of the horrific stories of freshmen getting shoved into lockers, which we later found out were totally false. That first year, we all got to endure a class that was new to us, T, where we typed Aesop's fables over and over again. And though Mrs. Dipperner would repeatedly remind us to pick a typing test we hadn't tried before, we all pretended that we didn't have any of the lines memorized. Even though we could type, Aesop was one of the great Greek gods. He is best known for his fables, stories that have a moral, without even looking at the screen. As ninth graders, we also got to experience making our very own mousetrap-powered cars, which most of ours were just a combination of our older siblings or friends from years past, with a few YouTube videos here and there. Prague. In the coming months, we will all be going in different directions, taking different paths. But no matter where we end up, we will always have one thing in common: having to correct every person that says, "Oh yeah, I've heard of New Prague." This community is something that we will always share together, and this school has become a support system for all of us, one that we can come back to. Hi. This school held us to our highest potentials, even if that meant staying up late the night before IGS was due, still having wet varnish on our shop projects when we turned them in, or borrowing the teacher's calculator because, yet again, we forgot to charge ours. But with these high expectations came high rewards. Whether that be the addition of early releases on Thursdays or the 8 snow days that we had this year. Mr. Dipperner, we greatly appreciate you. But all joking aside, choosing to meet these high expectations will undoubtedly help us in choosing the right path starting in the fall. And school. MPHS has taught us that we are always going to be students who are going to be seeking out different opportunities, creating new experiences, and taking on various challenges, even if they don't always work like they should. For example, our Chromebooks most of the time. No matter what, though, this school has been a great end to our 12 years of education. So, I think Alexa gave some pretty good advice. Hopefully, you laughed a little and stayed half entertained. And though I never incorporated any of Shakespeare's writing, I would like to conclude with a few quotes from some of our very own staff. Like Mr. Odenthal's typical, "All right, I'll get you guys unlocked and we can get a start on the daily agenda." Or Miss Schultz yelling out, "One team, one dream!" Or Mr. Wetchka's inspiring, "Let's make it a great day, Trojans." Which I think we would all agree these lines are just as iconic as Shakespeare's. Next year, we will all be going and starting out as little freshmen again, either in a career or in college. But this time, we aren't going to be scared because we know we will always have New Prague High School. Thank you.
At this time, could you please direct your attention to the band as they perform Into the Raging River under the direction of Mark Disher. year, the graduating class selects a member to speak at graduation. The class of 2019 has selected Allie Meyer. Allie is a member of the New Prague High School Social Studies Department and completed her 4th year as teacher at New Prague High School. She also completed 4 years as a student at New Prague High School. She is a 2009 graduate. Allie is deeply committed to the New Prague students and families. When asked what she loves about New Prague, she stated that she loves that this is a community that rallies around and supports one another to overcome obstacles. When students were asked to describe Allie, they respond that they appreciate her because she is, quote, funny, outgoing, and authentic. In short, they know that she genuinely cares about them as people first. She truly excels at forging authentic, positive relationships with students, and for that reason, she is speaking here tonight. Please welcome Ms. Allie Meyer.
Hi, everybody. First, I would like to thank the class of 2019 for choosing me to speak to all of you today. I would also like to take a moment to thank the parents, guardians, friends, and families of all the students sitting in front of us. Thank you for raising such outstanding individuals and for sending them to NPHS for the last 4 years. We've loved having them. Now, I know this may come as a surprise to some of you, since one of you once jokingly asked me if I voted for Abe Lincoln, but I'm not that old. In fact, 10 years ago, I was doing the same thing you are right now. I was graduating from New Prague High School. I was sitting in a folding chair in the gym across the street, listening to my best friend give her student address. I was really nervous. I was going to trip and fall when I got my diploma, but I was also just really excited and nervous for what came after I tossed my cap in the air. The future was suddenly this unknowable thing. No longer was I going to have Miss Bishop as an English teacher, or Miss Sapp for choir, or Mr. Hopke for psychology. No longer was I going to be surrounded by the same group of friends I'd had since elementary school. For 4 years, you know the people around you and the people teaching you. You have safety in the familiarity of your life. Regardless of your plans for the coming weeks, months, and years, the one thing it won't be is familiar. Some of you will be going to new places and you'll be surrounded by new people and things. Some of you will be going to college, some to tech school. Some of you have chosen to serve our country, to which I can only say a very sincere thank you. Some of you already have full-time jobs, and some of you are going to take the days as they come and make up a plan along the way. The best advice I can give to you right now is to walk with confidence on the path that you've chosen, but to not be afraid if, in a few years, you don't see that path so clearly anymore. Be okay with switching gears, transfer, change careers, do what makes you happy. 10 years ago, I firmly believed I was going to be a lawyer. I was headed to St. Ben's with a dream and a plan. 2 years later, that dream changed, and 1 semester off, a transfer to St. Cloud State later, and the rest is history. Literally, because now I teach history. While you are each going to lose the everyday familiar parts of your lives that was New Prague High School, my life will also become a little unfamiliar. You see, 4 years ago, when you were all just wee freshmen, I was a first-year teacher. We were freshmen together. We learned the ropes at NPHS together. This also means that I haven't taught a single day without you guys in the building. The thought of it is quite daunting, which leads me to this. 7 things I would like to thank the class of 2019 for. Thank you for the 482 times a group of you walked into my classroom saying, "Hey, Meyer, smells like up dog in here," so that I would have to answer back, "What's up, dog?" Thank you for bringing back my love of yo-yoing that I thought I left back in the 3rd grade. Thank you for teaching me more about hockey than I ever thought I would know, and for not laughing at me when I asked what the difference between roughing and checking was, because checking seemed pretty rough to me. Thank you for communicating with me in quotes from The Office and Friends, because they are the only 2 languages, besides English, in which I am fluent. Thank you for the gifts both bought and created, like mugs for my classroom, a giant head on a stick to wave around at basketball games, a bowl for my Tootsie Rolls, and a very interesting ceramic fish, which now sits proudly on my filing cabinet for everybody to see. Thank you for geeking out over the television show Glee with me, and for singing along with me when I inevitably got the song stuck in my head. But most of all, I would like to thank you all for reminding me each day over our 4 years together just why it is I became a teacher in the first place. Thank you for being the faces of the people I most looked forward to seeing each day. It is through these interactions over the past 4 years that I know with certainty that you are more than ready to take on whatever comes next. Hold on to what you've learned from your family, your friends, and yes, even your teachers. Be kind, work hard, and have a little fun, Trojans. You've earned it.
At this time, please join me in observing a moment of silence in memory of 2 members of the class of 2019, Noah Matthew Smith and Timothy Peter Tice. Thank you. Okay, here it comes, the thing you've all been waiting for. It is my pleasure as principal of New Prague High School to represent Independent School District 721 in presenting the 310 members of the class of 2019 who have successfully met all requirements for their diplomas as set forth by the Minnesota Department of Education and the Board of Education of New Prague area schools. At this time, we will award diplomas to each member of the graduating class. The first row of graduates can now make their way to the stage. Please refrain from applause until all graduates have been awarded their diplomas so each graduate and their family may enjoy their special moment.
Anna Austin.
Marley Askamit.
Jacob Alba.
Aaron Ambrose.
Isaiah Ammond.
Tiara Anderson.
Austin Anderson.
Emma Anderson.
Haley Anderson, distinction.
McKenna Apolloni, distinction.
Catalina Arguedas, distinction.
Jimmy Arita.
Alexa Arneson.
Ashley Audette.
Jacob Bastier.
Joseph Beatrice.
Elizabeth Bennett.
Elizabeth Benson.
Abriel Birch.
Victoria Bezick.
Kenneth Bishop.
Lindsay Berkey.
Caitlin Blair, distinction.
Olivia Blashko.
Emma Blanker.
Blake Belter, distinction.
Brandon Bowman.
Morgan Brandt, distinction.
Christopher Breheim.
Angeli Briner, distinction.
Peyton Brown, distinction. Catherine Buccelli.
Danielle Burns.
Savannah Burrow, distinction.
Allison Burton.
Nathan Caligiuri.
Zachary Cameron.
Riley Carey.
Thomas Carroll.
Madison Karstens.
Andrew Caskey.
Alexander Chandler.
Misty Chastain.
Caden Cromie.
Caitlin Cromie, distinction.
Andrew Sinsawa.
Isabel Clancy, high distinction.
Sean College.
Aaron Connolly.
Jasmine Cooper.
Janae Copeland Wells.
Jesse Cortez, distinction.
Caitlin Cross.
Taylor Culver.
Annabelle Delyden.
Mary Dawson, high distinction.
Mary Daly.
Chloe Davis.
Tavian Dawson.
Laura DeGrosse.
Mason DeGrosse, distinction.
Joseph Deja.
Ryan Dolan, high distinction.
Colin Dorzinski, high distinction.
Daria Doyle.
Grace Dumoulin.
Isabel Durbin.
Zechariah Eberly, high distinction.
Cameron Edmo.
Cade Egum.
Ariana Ellis.
Haley Ann Ellman.
Jacob Emond.
Nathaniel Engie.
Cole Erickson.
Joshua Erickson.
Taylor Fisher.
Brooke Fisher.
Logan Flaskamp.
Kendra Flegel, distinction.
Jonathan Fleechek.
Evan Fogelberg, distinction.
Callie Fox, distinction.
Travis Frerick.
Will Galby.
Caroline Geiger, high distinction.
Andrew Geis.
Molly Giesen, high distinction.
Woodrow Glazer.
Rebecca Godby.
Danny Gordon.
Tanner Greff, distinction.
Tyler Grimm.
Hannah Grobel.
Stephen Gross.
Carter Hankinson, distinction.
Braden Hanson.
Jessica Hanson.
Cody Harder, high distinction.
Cassidy Hartman, distinction.
Connor Hatfield, distinction.
Ashley Hattelstad.
David Havlicek, distinction.
Lydia Hale.
Sarah Helvek, distinction.
Isabel Hendren Mora.
Alexa Henches.
John Hairtaus III.
Jill Hazelton.
Sydney Marie Holbach.
Anna Holden, high distinction.
Ruka Jurgens.
Garrett Hollitz.
Zachary Holden, distinction.
Anne-Marie Hummel, high distinction.
Samantha Horish.
Amy Ilka, distinction.
Braden Hunter.
Brooklyn Isley, high distinction.
Alexandra Isaacson.
Kale Jalen.
Taylor Jacobs.
Charles Jerick, high distinction.
Tayton Jensen Hagedorn.
Colin Johnson.
Bryce Johnson.
Riley Johnson, high distinction.
Paige Johnson.
Zane Jones.
Brandon Joku.
Spencer Kyer.
Rose Kamish.
Caitlin Kassendorf, high distinction.
Yen Keim.
Tyler Kemp.
Brandon Kincaid.
Evan Kivy, distinction.
Ethan Knutson.
Nathaniel Cook.
Alexis Kasina.
Casey Katalsik.
Dylan Kotek.
Diana Couch, distinction.
Caitlin Kuntz.
Mia Kramer.
Nathan Krentz.
Abigail Crostew, distinction.
Victoria Kraus, distinction.
Brody Cup.
Willow Larson.
Jenna Larson.
Gloria Lemke.
Abigail Lindblom.
Lilia Lindgren, distinction.
Abigail Linkert.
Bryce Lofton.
Brock Lohman.
Nathaniel Lures, distinction.
Alicia Lukish.
Tyler Lund.
Annalise Lundeen Dedish, high distinction.
Eliza Lynch, distinction.
Kenneth McDonald.
Colin McCrease, distinction.
Carson Madsen.
Sydney Magnuson.
Lucas Major, high distinction.
Tag Malay.
Peyton Manning.
Joshua Mapes.
Ethan Marek.
Luke Marshall.
Shane Matters.
Amber Madsen Johnson.
Jack Moxa.
Iris McCarthy.
Keenan McFedries.
Andrew McGannon.
Aiden McClune, high distinction.
Isaiah McNeil.
Garrett Maywin.
Jacob Mensing.
Brecken Meyer.
Jacob Meyer.
Grace Midvet.
Haley Ray Miller.
Trent Miller.
Michaela Moe.
Hannah Mooney.
Michaela Moore.
Zachariah Morris.
Thomas Morrison.
Ryan Mullen.
Carson Mulvihill.
Alexander Munson.
Daniel Musel, high distinction.
Nathaniel Nayer.
Natalie Nelson, high distinction.
Shayna Nelson.
Michael Nendick.
Pavan Neth.
Hunter Nielsen.
Eric Novak, distinction.
Jenna Novak, high distinction.
Samuel Novak.
Grace Olson.
Alexander Olson.
Mason Payton.
Julianne Pankow, distinction.
Jake Parent.
Alex Peterson.
Callie Peterson.
Taylor Pexa, high distinction.
Andrew Pitska.
Caitlin Pickens, high distinction.
Andrew Pilola, high distinction.
Caitlin Pint, distinction.
Morgan Pint.
Ellen Popple, high distinction.
Anna Perkel, distinction.
Trevor Pereleznik, distinction.
Zachary Pumper.
Jackson Queen.
Megan Rodermacher.
Bailey Rezak, distinction.
Allison Roiger, high distinction.
Adam Reeling.
Brennan Rutt.
Frank Ruzichka.
Emily Sable.
Kelsey Sacker.
Hartman Sadusky, high distinction.
Alice Schmid.
Angela Shanebauer, high distinction.
Cole Shanebauer, distinction.
Caitlin Shanebauer.
Luke Shanebauer, high distinction.
Samantha Schoenbauer.
Laura Schoeneman.
Lexi Schrader.
Destiny Schulte.
Mitchell Shanebauer.
Sagan Shetka, distinction.
Ethan Shimoda.
Joshua Shoemaker.
Sydney Siegel, high distinction.
Amber Simon, high distinction.
Brett Simon.
Bryce Simon.
Carlene Simon, high distinction.
Olivia Simon.
Abigail Shurik.
Zachary Schierick, high distinction.
Cody Sklizacek.
Jillian Skluzacek.
Brayson Smith.
Ezekiel Smith.
Carter Solhide.
Simon Solhide, distinction.
Cole Steele.
Allison Stika.
Samuel Stika, distinction.
Olivia Steinison.
Andrew Stoik.
Elijah Stoker.
Tanner Sulich.
Chessa Swadin.
Brianna Siska, high distinction.
Maxwell Tesh.
Rachel Tice, high distinction.
Lindsay Tupy, distinction.
Aaron Turman, distinction.
Anthony Tyson.
Cole Uplegger.
Lydia Velishek, high distinction.
Ava Valensky, high distinction.
Mackenzie Vlasic.
Addie Vohaska, high distinction.
Tyler Volk.
Jonathan Von Bank.
Cindy Walker.
Kate Wagner, high distinction.
Megan Wagner.
Wyatt Walford, high distinction.
Murphy Warner, high distinction.
Riley Weckman.
Noah Weichert.
Hannah Weichman.
Joseph Wires, distinction.
Alexander Wormerskirchen.
Isabel Werner.
Jacob Wessing.
Ryan Wetchka.
Colton Wick, distinction.
Haley White.
Lauren White.
Lance Williams.
Madison Williams.
Jacob Wilson.
Alanis Winterfeld.
Blake Woodson, high distinction.
Grant Yackley, distinction.
Shohib Zabar.
Brooklyn Zimmer.
Nora Zvanovitz.
Anna Zwaber.
Ann Zwaber, distinction.
Sam Zwaber. Now will the senior class officers please come forward for the changing of the tassels. Congratulations, class of 2019.